Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a young prince named Adrian. He was not only handsome, but also kind-hearted and full of courage. From a very young age, Prince Adrian loved helping people. He would often walk through the village streets, listening to the worries of the farmers, the merchants, and even the little children. Everyone loved him because he never acted proud or selfish. The kingdom of Eloria, where Prince Adrian lived, was peaceful and beautiful. Green fields stretched far and wide, and crystal-clear rivers flowed like silver ribbons across the land. But one day, dark clouds began to gather. A terrible dragon appeared in the northern mountains. This was no ordinary dragon. It was huge, with scales as black as night, and eyes that glowed like fire. It flew down from the mountains, burning farms and stealing livestock. The people were terrified, and they begged the king to save them. The king, Prince Adrian's father, was old and weak. He called his council of knights and generals, but none of them dared to face the dragon. They all said the same thing: "The dragon is too strong. If we go to fight it, we will surely die." When Adrian heard this, he stood up bravely. "If no one else will fight the dragon, then I shall go," he declared. The council gasped in shock. He was only 18 years old, still young, but his courage shone brighter than anyone else's. The king, worried for his son, said, "Adrian, my dear boy, the dragon is powerful. You could lose your life." But Adrian held his father's hand and replied, "Father, the people are suffering. I cannot sit in this castle and watch them cry. If I do not fight for them, who will?" The king's eyes filled with tears of both fear and pride. Finally, he gave his blessing. Prince Adrian put on his silver armor, mounted his white horse, and rode out of the castle gates. The people gathered in the streets, cheering for their brave prince. Mothers prayed for his safety, and children waved flowers as he passed by. The journey to the northern mountains was long and dangerous. The forests were thick, and wild animals lurked in the shadows. But Adrian pressed on, guided by his courage. After 2 days, he reached a small village at the foot of the mountains. The villagers there looked pale with fear. Their homes were half burned, and smoke still rose from the fields. An old woman came forward and said, "Prince Adrian, the dragon lives in a dark cave high above. Many have gone to fight it, but none have returned." Adrian thanked the woman and promised, "I will not give up until your village is safe." He climbed the rocky path, his sword at his side and his shield on his back. At last, he reached the cave. The smell of smoke and ash filled the air, and the ground was covered with black scorch marks. Suddenly the ground shook, and from deep within the cave, the dragon emerged. Its wings stretched wide, and its roar echoed through the mountains like thunder. Prince Adrian felt fear in his heart, but he remembered the cries of his people. He raised his sword high and shouted, "I am Prince Adrian of Eloria. I have come to end your terror." The dragon laughed, a terrible sound that shook the rocks. Flames burst from its mouth, but Adrian quickly raised his shield, blocking the fire. He charged forward bravely, striking the dragon's leg with his sword. The dragon roared in pain, but it was not defeated. It swung its tail, knocking Adrian off his feet. The prince fell, but he did not give up. He stood again, his eyes shining with determination. The battle raged on. Adrian dodged the dragon's claws and struck whenever he found a chance. At last, he noticed a weak spot, a small gap between the dragon's scales near its chest. Gathering all his strength, Adrian climbed onto a rock, leapt forward, and drove his sword into the gap. The dragon let out a final roar, shook the ground violently, and then collapsed with a crash. The mountain grew silent. Adrian stood there, breathing heavily, his armor covered in dust and ash. The dragon was defeated. When he returned to the village, The people rushed to him, cheering with joy. "The dragon is gone! The prince has saved us!" they cried. Flowers were thrown at his feet, and the children danced around him. Adrian smiled, but he did not boast. He simply said, "I did what was my duty." When he returned to the kingdom, the news of his victory spread like wildfire. The entire capital city gathered to welcome him. The king embraced his son with tears in his eyes and declared, "Today, my son has shown us the true meaning of bravery. He is not just a prince, he is a hero." From that day on, Prince Adrian was remembered, not only as the heir to the throne, but also as the savior of his people. His story was told for generations, reminding everyone that true bravery is not the absence of fear, but the strength to fight for others despite fear. And so, the brave prince lived on in the hearts of his people, a shining example of courage, kindness, and hope.